Hello, beautiful people. I am back in the video world and it's been a while, but I needed to take a mental break from this. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it could be a little bit mentally exhausting to come up with so much information, and sometimes you just need to take a break in order to give some more stuff back, and that's exactly what I did. So on that note, I want to talk a little bit about burnout. So obviously not the kind of burnout you think I'm talking about. I just realized what I'm saying. Anyway, a lot of the times in any field of work that we have, especially for me as a therapist and a lot of other professions that we, have in our daily work life, we can feel very burnt out. We can feel exhausted from doing the same mundane thing every single time. Sometimes we just don't feel inspired enough. Sometimes we just feel tired, and then we see other people doing like really fun things and we just get, jealous, and we say, why can't I be like that? And this is a whole slew of problems. But I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys to always make time to take care of yourself. This is very important, and obviously you guys know how important it is. I don't need to keep talking about it. A couple of signs to figure out of knowing if you're on the verge of being burnt out or if you're already feeling burnt out is just feeling mentally exhausted. Fatigue, loss of appetite, anxiety, feeling a little bit depressed, feeling unmotivated. These are all signs of burnout. Now, yes, those signs are incredibly negative and it can be really hard to try to overcome those things. So, one of the easiest things to do to combat your burnout is to prevent it from happening in the first place. So, a lot of that has to do with having a good work life balance. So, let's talk about that for a second. What does that mean? In our society today, we have been super conditioned to feel like a 24/7 day and 365 days a year is going to be, maximum production in your work life and becoming successful. And sure, maybe that's true for some people, but for the normal working person, it can be very mentally exhausting to have a life like that. What life is like that where you are just working 24 hours a day, unless you actually love it, but typically speaking, when you're working 24 hours a day, you don't have time for fun. And I was actually listening to a really great podcast the other day, and they talk about how important it is to incorporate fun. And even if that means, enjoying your job, but also doing something that day or even once a month that has absolutely nothing to do with your job, that is totally just fun and enjoying yourself. You're working 7 days a week. When are you going to have time for your friends? When are you going to have time for your family? At least plugging in one of those social occasions, at least once a month. I mean, if you can do it once a week, that's great. It can just be as simple as going out for coffee, getting a tea, or going to a meditation class together, or just enjoying each other's company, having fun, talking about real stuff. So I really encourage you guys to have a really good, healthy work-life balance and at least being mindful of it. Now, if you guys are already feeling burnt out now, other than talking about the stuff that can prevent it, I highly suggest just being able to take a mental break. If you do need just to disconnect, turn off your phone, stay off social media for a little bit, let your mind breathe, allow yourself to just take a deep breath, enjoy what's going on. Something I like to do is called the 5 4 3 2 1 rule. So you just, sit wherever you are, have a mental break to yourself, and you pick 5 things that you see. So I see my phone, I see the wall, I see a couch, I see a TV, 5 things. 4 things you hear. So you ground yourself. It's a grounding exercise. You think about all the things that you're hearing. 3 things that you can smell, that you can touch. 3 things that you touch, and you touch it like I touch the door, I touch the wall. 2 things that you can taste or smell, and 1 thing from any of the above. From any of the above. So you can kind of interchange those for yourself. So I really like this grounding tool because it helps you get back into the shape of things and really become present. And speaking of becoming present, if you're already feeling burnt out, meditation is an awesome way to get back to your core self. So I highly recommend apps like Calm and Headspace. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube you guys can find too on just taking a mental break and meditating for yourselves. Another thing I find very helpful when you're feeling burnt out is just give yourself a nice change of scenery. So typically when we do feel burnt out, we have a tendency to want to be home and just, not be able to do anything all day and relax our minds a little bit, and that's fine. but you also want to be able to change your environment. So if that means going outside for a walk or going to the beach or even traveling somewhere, a short-term travel day, a staycation somewhere, these types of things do help. It helps you get out of that, mental bubble that you created for yourselves in your work environment. Let's say you haven't had a really healthy work-life balance, but now it can give you a chance to kickstart that. The last tip I want to leave you guys with is to keep it simple. So whenever we're on the verge of feeling burnt out, or we do actually feel burnt out, we have a tendency to just, make things massive on our to-do list and overwhelm ourselves and just feel even more mentally exhausted than we already are. So something that I recommend is just keep it very simple. Minimize the activities that you need to do. Maybe try to do 2 easy things and 1 hard thing per day, just to keep it as simple as you possibly can. And that way you don't feel overwhelmed. I really hope that you guys benefited from this video, whether you are on the verge of feeling burnt out or if you are currently experiencing the symptoms right now. Try any of these things that I mentioned, and I hope that this would be helpful for improving your mental well-being and your ultimate journey to, self-realization. So I really hope that you enjoyed it, and comment below so I can know what kinds of videos that you guys are wanting more. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.